Hey everyone, Tuto back with another video, and this time I'm going to be talking about the Legend Anthology. If you're not aware, Konami, for the Master Duel anniversary, has set forth this little event called the Legend Anthology, which is about basically playing anime decks. They've banned basically everything except for a few exceptions, besides anime archetypes like, Heroes legal, DDD, and Black Wings are some of the best decks. They expect you to play Dark Magician and Blue Eye style decks, just anything from the anime. But one interesting thing that you might not have noticed that I immediately noticed because I am a degenerate is Master Plan is legal, and I don't like crafting new stuff to play events, so why not just play Spiral again? I mean, I'm the Spiral guy, I love Spiral, so can I make it work? And the answer is yes. Behold my monstrosity. This is a rank 7 link spam spiral deck. The thing that it abuses the most is the fact that the code breakers and the code talkers, which include Access Code Talker, are anime archetypes, so they are legal in this format, which means you have the entire code breaker line up to Access Code Talker to clear the board and attack for lethal very easily. And I mean, Decode Talker is also not even a bad card in a low power level format like this. And also, because Dark Magician is one of the core decks they want to promote in this event, your Magician Souls, your Prep Rights, and your Illusion of Chaos, all perfectly legal. So the idea of this deck is that you have to kind of find a way to do other stuff besides the typical Spiral game plan, because Double Helix and Quick Fix are banned. If I show you like all the legal Spiral cards, it's just Master Plan, Drone, and Tough as far as main deck monsters that are actually Spirals, so no Quick Fix, no Super Agent, no Sleeper, no Last Resort even. But you do have all your missions, so you have your rescue and your assault missions, and even have Big Red, but that's not going to come up because you can't get Quick Fix, so you don't want to run like even the janky stuff like Utility Wire and Fully Armed. These cards might be actually playable if Quick Fix was legal, but he's not, so you don't play them. But I do play a couple of Big Red because summoning Master Plan is the goal of the deck. The general idea here is I'm going to break the opponent's board using cards like Pankratops, using cards like Tough, who you can summon multiple times throughout a turn, and using a Link Climb and Rank 7 strategy because, as you might notice, I have Pank, Ascended to Thunder, and the only legal danger, Nessie. This is the one I don't get the most. I figured all the dangers should just be banned entirely. They're not anime cards and they're all busted, but Nessie's the only legal one because I guess they figured, oh, no one's going to play Nessie if she snipes, she doesn't do anything. I'll play Nessie if she doesn't do anything. Like, I don't care. It's a free level 7 that discards cards and draw me cards, man. I don't care if I have nothing to search. I'll just take the risk. There's another card you might want to play if you don't want to play triple Pankratops because it's a UR. I just happen to have them for side deck purposes. You should probably have at least one because he's a good small world bridge, but if you don't have Pank, there's like a super rare option. This guy, Charging Gaia, not Charging Gaia, sorry, it's the other one. It's Lord Gaia, who you can special summon just like Pank if you control no monsters and your opponent does. That's like a super rare replacement for Pank, but I like Pank, so, I'm playing 3 of them. So, skipping to the chase, the idea is you break the board with cards like Brute Enforcer, Wannabe Nightmare, Access Code Talker, Amazing Board Clearer, and the Code Breakers, which clear back row. And you have a good rank 7 board clear in the form of Dracosac, which can pop cards, and Big Eye, which can steal monsters. And you have a really easy rank 7 setup by getting multiple Master Plans into play. The general idea is use Souls, summon a Master Plan, and use one of your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 ways to get to summon Master Plan from there on. And then you do a little link climbing, and then you do a little discarding, and a little summoning, and a little rank 7 spam, and you break your opponent's board, and then you kill them with Code Breakers and Access Code Talker. The most funny cards in this deck are this guy, Buster Whelp the Destruction. A Buster Whelp of the Destruction Swordsman. It's a random Buster Blader card, and some of the Buster Blader cards are legal because Buster Blader is a Yugi card. I don't know why. I only own this guy because he's a completely generic Link 2 dragon that you can make Romulus with in Romulus decks. But you can just skip this guy, he's not necessary. I just think it's funny because you can turn the Dracosac tokens into a Link 2 monster, which comes up sometimes. The main ones, though, are Traffic Ghost and Tao Tai Dragon. These guys are important because they're the only, reasonably summonable Link 3s that have the down pointing arrows for the Codebreaker setup. Tao Tai Dragon needs summon from the extra deck monsters, so you can make it with a Borg Blocker and a Link Kribo, off your Souls or something, or off a normal summon of Drone. But most of the time I'm making Traffic Ghosts because it's just 3 of any monster, and I have tons of monsters hanging around from excess material. And then you link off 2 monsters to make the Codebreakers, and you just go to town on your opponent. I'm also running Fireball Dragon because it's also a generic monster. You could summon off like Dracosac tokens and off all this random material that can help break the board. So yeah, that's really it. There's nothing else to it. It's just break the board, OTK your opponent with Access Code Talker plus some guys, and win the game. So let's get into some games and show you how it works. Alright, so here we are with the first game. This is obviously a great hand. Another reason you want to go second is this deck really wants to draw like Souls plus Revival effects, so the 6 cards are going to help with that, but I'm already there, so we're pretty good. And we'll see what my opponent's on, and they are on Hero. Hero is a deck that I think has some bans, like some of the more broken extra deck monsters. I'm not sure if Phoenix, of course, is legal or not, but who knows. But yeah, here we are. They're playing like the Neos version, which is funny, I guess, but you know, if they're doing the Neos version, they're probably doing the hand loop stuff. So if you see this deck, you're probably going to get looped, which I guess isn't the end of the world for this deck, because some of your cards do want to go in the graveyard. That said, it's not like they get to see what cards they're hitting, so my opponent decides to get rid of my souls, which is fairly obvious in my spiral deck. This is the best card, but they are down to 3k life already, which is a very low life total after Hero lives. They go ahead and hit one of my Spiral Resorts, I guess. I mean, I only need one Spiral Resort, to be honest. The hitting one was great. I'm glad they didn't hit my Nessie, because that's what I actually need to do anything. I mean, chances are they don't know if Quick Fix is legal or not, and they didn't want to give me access to Quick Fix, and that makes sense. Like, who checked the spam list for Spiral cards besides me, right? So here we are. It's my turn, and I draw a Master Plan. So this hand doesn't really do anything on its own, and, you know, why you run dangerous, baby? Even when she might snipe, Nessie is here to save the day. And of course, I'm going to win this game, so of course my Nessie doesn't snipe. I discard Rescue Mission, which is pretty good, and I get a Souls. Well, when you're running 9 copies, it's not unlikely to draw one. Though, you know, any rank 7 might have gotten me there, especially with that Rescue Mission in deck. Or any normal summon, because I could have gone Borg Blocker. Tons of different plays, but, you know, as it stands, I have the double Master Plan access. I've got just tons of things to do. We're just going to speed this up. I'm going to draw 2 off my souls, and I draw more missions, which is solid. You know, I'm going to add most of the missions I want with my Master Plan, so I guess it's not technically good. I would have preferred like an Ascended to Thunder or a Pankratops or something, but, you know, who cares? So go ahead and add my drone. Because I have all this mission access, I can actually assault mission again later for this drone in hand. That's pretty good. Brute Forcer, you know, kind of doing the duty as a Nightmare card, even though it can get negated by your opponent discarding a card. Brute Enforcer's pretty funny because it gives you a discard outlet that isn't also just board blocker, while also potentially breaking boards if your opponent doesn't have the right cards in hand. But yeah, I get my mission in graveyard, so my Master Plan, make Dracosack, and Dracosack's really solid here. Very funny because you can turn these 3 into Traffic Ghost. The only downside of Traffic Ghost is it does require 3 complete monsters, like you have to make 3 monsters, so it's not as easy as something in the past that you might have seen, like a Selene, which could be a Link 2 and a Master Plan. Selene's not legal in this event, so, you know, we're making Traffic Ghost, baby. Gonna link these 2 off for a board blocker. This was not necessary. I could have just linked those 2 off into the Code Breakers and won the game that way, but I have all this extra material, so I might as well, you know, use it. It's funny. You know, Assault Mission and Drone, and I still have not normal summoned. Welcome to Spiral, everyone. Sack the deck with a Neos, which is very funny for me, you know, nice draw on top of your deck. It's nice to let my opponent know you have no chance of winning even if I flub up my combo because you just have a Neos on top of your deck. So we do the Codebreaker line, you know, summon Swordsman, summon Zero Day, summon Berserker, summon Swordsman, summon Zero Day, make Executalker, and because I have all this extra material hanging around, I might as well just make a Fireball Dragon. It's another piece of fun disruption. We'll go ahead and pop, and my opponent concedes because they are dead. And that is, you know, Souls plus Revival plus some extenders in there, you know, it gets there. And that's kind of like the idea of the deck. And let's get on to game number 2, where I can show you another interesting card. Alright, so here we are with game number 2 up against Code Talkers, another, you know, powerful anime-esque deck. You know, I'm using a Code Talker, as you might have 2 of them actually, Decode and Access Code. This hand's pretty solid. It's got a rank 7 setup. If I draw into Master Plan or Souls, I have Dark Magic Veil. Dark Magic Veil is very interesting, and it's a card I wanted to show off the most here, because this card's almost good enough to be played in regular Spiral, because it summons Master Plan from the graveyard or from the hand. It can also, like, summon a Magician's Souls from your hand or graveyard if you want to do that. It comes up sometimes. But it's just not quite good enough because it's, you know, it's just a bad monster reborn most of the time. But the fact that it can summon from hand is really important in this deck because I am maxing out on Master Plan and Resorts, and I just want to get Master Plan into play no matter what, and this card does that. My opponent's like doing some Code Talker stuff here, but like a lot of the generic Cyburst extenders that Code Talker abuses to really go into their crazy link climbs aren't legal because they're not anime cards. It's really just like the cards that say code in their name and some, I guess, you know, Ignister cards, I guess, because those are also anime cards. I think Dotscaper's legal. That's something. But yeah, it's not, some of like the really powerful extenders aren't really there, so they can't quite do as much as they want. Like, they can't, you know, full extra link you, block your zones, make Trigate and Firewall. I don't think that's really a capability of the deck, even with the Signet Codec active. So that's kind of like an X-Code Talker and a Transcode Talker and pass. I actually think their strategy is use the Code Talkers to go into Update Jammer access code. I'm not sure if Update Jammer is legal either. Speaking of Dark Magicville, is Foolish Burial Goods legal in this format? I don't think I checked. We'll see it in the wrap up. But yeah, so here's my opponent's board. They set one and they have some like cards that are hard to kill, and they block one of my zones, which is a little annoying because I wanted to use that zone. I need all the zones I can get, especially because it's a link zone. The Transcode Talker is pointing to it. But the idea here, so their Transcode Talker can't be affected by card effects because it got hit by Gachiri ad Ignister. This Xcode Talker is protected by the Transcode Talker from card effects, can't be targeted, and it's blocking my zone. Otherwise, they don't really have any interaction, they just have a back row. And, my hand's not the worst, but we'll see where it goes, and I draw a copy of Souls. I mean, what do you want me to say? The deck's got 9 Souls, I'm running them, I got them, I drew them. So, go prep, get Illusion of Chaos, get Souls send Master Plan. And now I can, so this is interesting. My opponent was giving me prompts as soon as I summoned this Magician Souls, but not beforehand, I believe. So I was fearing that like there might be some kind of crazy DD Crow effect that was activatable as soon as Master Plan was in the graveyard. If I thought about it, I would have known that they would have been able to activate a DD Crow with Preparation of Rites hit the graveyard, not when Souls hit the field. So I didn't have to do this, but to play around a card like DD Crow, I sent Rescue Mission to the graveyard with Souls preemptively, to, so I can chain it to my big red as a safety precaution. But my opponent didn't have that. What they did have was a Compulse, Compulsory Evacuation Device, a staple from 2004, everybody. It was a staple for a really long time, but, what a heck of a card. So I guess my opponent isn't a going second OTK deck if they're running Compulse, or maybe they just are playing generic staples, who knows. But, I have this follow-up Dark Magicville, and I can summon Master Plan from my hand that they just used their Compulse to put in my hand. Dark Magicville, everyone. Really good in this format, I guess. And at this point, my opponent doesn't really have any interactions, and I have tons of material and tons of 7s, and I even do another Monster Reborn effect off my Nessie. Just crazy good cards here. So at this point, my biggest problem is like link zones, but I can pretty much get there. World Legacy Succession, also another Monster Reborn style effect. You can summon a monster to a link zone, which I do pretty easily thanks to Link Creebo and cards like Brute Enforcer. So, summon Master Plan back, get Assault Mission, discard Assault Mission, Brute Enforcer. This card didn't do anything, this Shooting Code Talker, it's just like an attacker. But it got me a discard for my Assault Mission. I can summon this Tough, pop a card. I can't pop these guys, but I might as well, right? Get a Master Plan, summon Master Plan, get a Rescue Mission. Just doing Master Plan loops, everyone. Isn't this great? And just let's clear out the game with Traffic Ghost, your 3 link arrows, Rescue Mission back your Master Plan, and here we go. I even got the Tracosack effect that I can still use as soon as I do my Codebreaker plays. So go to the Codebreakers, and Access Code is going to be able to clear this board. Basically, the only thing I need to do is pop this X Code Talker with Access Code Talker, because it can still be destroyed, it just can't be targeted, and Access Code doesn't target. And then I need a Lethal Force after attacking over Transcode Talker, so this will lose its 500 attack bonus once I get to Access Code Talker and pop X Code, so I just need an extra, like, 2,300 damage or something on top of the 2,700 damage I would need on top of Access Code, which I have plenty of here with the Tracosack and the Codebreakers. So yeah, this is a very straightforward lethal line. You just do your Codebreaker link climb under your best buddy Traffic Ghost. Did you know Traffic Ghost has a freaking animation of all things? I don't know why, but activate Access Code Talker, they see the writing on the wall, and they go ahead and concede. So yeah, that's the second game. Let's get to a little recap. Alright, so here we are back in the deck build screen after those 2 games. Here's the deck one last time, and let me check to see if Foolish Burial Goods is legal. I don't think it is. I think I checked for that. Yeah, Foolish Burial Goods is not legal. I would play 2 or 3 of it if it was legal to, just like World Legacy Succession, it's a good once per turn card that you can summon your Master Plan with. It's even better than Dark Magicville because it doesn't cost 1,000 life points. But I guess Dark Magicville can summon a Souls from graveyard or hand if you need it. It comes up maybe. I haven't had to yet. But yeah, here's the deck one more time. I've been doing really good with it. I've only been playing it for a little bit. I lost a few games at the beginning because I wasn't playing this deck. I was just playing like some strapped together nonsense pile that I didn't think of. I started playing it with this game right here against Tama. I wish I could show you that one, but yeah, the replay is gone from this point. But yeah, I'm on pretty solid. I'm not on a complete winning streak. I'm like 10 and 2 or something crazy, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm 7 and 2, which is not bad. Not the worst setup, and yeah, I think it's a really solid deck. It's not the best deck. The best deck is DDD or whatever, probably, or maybe Blackwing, or maybe a Synchro deck, but I didn't have to craft anything new for it. Every card I have in here I already had, except for Tide Dragon. I crafted him specifically for this because I thought it was funny. The rank 7 stuff I had just because I was doing rank 7 decks before with Master Plan. And the Link monsters, stuff like Decode Talker and Traffic Ghost are functionally free. They're already in your deck. You already have Access Code Talker and Board Blocker and Link Kribo and all this stuff. And I think I had a Blackluster Soldier, who's a really powerful card that comes up sometimes. You can summon it really easy with all this rank 7 play, who can really dominate boards. But you don't need this guy. Like the URs that I just threw in here that you don't need, that you shouldn't have to craft because you don't play them in other versions of Spyral, are the triple Pankratops. One would be fine. The Dracosac, it's not necessary, but it is very good. And the Blackluster Soldier, it's not necessary, but it's very good, and I just happen to have it. So yeah, if you don't want to craft anything new and you want to play a very silly Spyral deck, here you go. And I hope I met your expectations as the Spyral one trick for playing a deck without Double Helix or Super Agent or Quick Fix and still winning with it. Have a good one, everyone. Thanks for watching. And if you did like the video, throw a like, comment, or subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.